on her statements that she had fabricated the stories. Investigators charged the female with false reporting of law enforcement. End quote. That's a tough look, man. That is a tough look. Here's my take on this whole situation with this thing. This is not even one of those situations that anyone can say, well, she's doing it because she's scared of the backlash of the Alabama football fans. Nope, that didn't happen, because what ended up happening was, even before this, was the Alabama people kind of turned on Nick Saban, feeling as though bringing this kid into the program tarnished the program, tarnished this quote unquote pristine program. But we all know it's big time college sports. Like, pristine is a very subjective word when talking about any big time college program. That being said, that part of the argument I don't think can be made, that she was so she recanted because she didn't want any of these rabid fans to turn on her. First of all, they've kept her name out of anything. Like this article that I'm reading, that's on Alex Scarborough wrote this article. He's an SEC reporter for ESPN. Yeah, the whole article, it never mentions her name. She's just mentioned as the female. So that's not a thing. Now, the other side of this, the kid side, it's unfortunate for Jonathan Taylor. A kid who presumably was looking for a fresh start somewhere else, that being the University of Alabama. But sometimes your past is just your past, man. And when you do something, and I don't call something like choking a woman out a mistake. Like that's one of the things that freely comes out of athletes' mouths nowadays. It's like the accepted thing, like, oh, I made a mistake. No, a mistake is me walking and looking backwards and tripping over someone's foot. That is a mistake. That's something that you didn't mean to do. Choking a woman out, that's bad. That's a bad decision, period. You didn't accidentally choke her, allegedly. Yeah, you didn't accidentally put your hands around her throat and start, squeezing. Nah. So quit calling these things mistakes, because by definition, they're not. They're not. If you want to call anything a mistake, probably the mistake is you getting caught. But that doesn't resonate to anyone with good sense. So his past is his past. He did what he did, which caused him to, once he got to the University of Alabama, to have a no tolerance policy put on him, so that if anything came up, he was going to be booted from school. Now, some people might be listening to me talk and say, well, that's still unfair. I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? Fair is a place where they have rides and games and deep fried foods. That's what fair is. When you're talking about something, it's almost like this. Look, if I got a family member that's a habitual drug addict, right? And that family member is allowed to stay overnight at my house. And then I wake up one morning and I can't find my wallet from where I always put it at. And I immediately suspect the crackhead, the family crackhead. I immediately suspect him. Then later on, I find it in the pants that I was wearing the day before. Okay, whatever, my bad. But don't look at me crazy. Like, I shouldn't have suspected you. You're damn right I should. This is a part of your story. And just because you think maybe you've changed, I say this to people all the time. As a kid who got into a lot of trouble growing up, and finally trying to turn the proverbial corner in my life, I realized it's not for other people to just change because I think I've changed. No. Maybe eventually, over time, they'll see the change and realize it's real. And if they don't, fine, because I've made my bed, so to speak. And I learned that as a young kid. So while it may be slightly unfortunate that this kid isn't in school anymore, the real deal is, had he not had any strikes on him, and I'm not sure that this is a fact, a matter, just because of the sports climate and the way it is around the domestic violence issue, I'm not sure that it's a guarantee that had he not had any strikes, so to speak, on him, and then she made this false report, if he wouldn't have still been immediately dismissed from the team. But I think part of the reason it happened so quickly is because, one, he was a guy who was on a second chance. He was playing for one of the most prestigious schools in college football. And in order for the people who made the decision to bring him into the campus to save face, their hands were pretty much forced. And now, what do you do now? Like, what do you do? This kid is kicked out of school. This girl has said she lied. She's been arrested for lying. So once, and I have to believe that while she's telling this story or telling the police she lied, they had to give her the option of, like, you understand what's happening now, that we can now charge you and send you to jail because the damage is done. Like, her saying that she lied is not going to get this kid back in school. I don't think it's going to get him back in school because of the backlash that the coaching staff and the university is taking for admitting him in the first place. So I don't think this is something that's going to get him back in school. So she had really nothing to gain by recanting, only things to lose, and she still went ahead with it and went to jail behind it. It's a bad look. Also, the third point I want to make in this, it's a bad look for females, man. The females who are actually sexually abused or domestically abused. It's a bad look for them on college campuses because when things like this go down, when things like this girl recanting and saying that she lied, and there's going to be people that's going to say, nah, she didn't lie. It really happened, but she was scared. It's going to be people who say that. But I know what the facts are. The fact is that she said she lied. So I'm not going to push in any way past that. She said she lied. This is not somebody telling me that she lied. She, out of her mouth, she told the police that she lied and went to jail behind it. Like, I don't think anyone is that convicted to a lie to reverse something that they had already said that got somebody punished already. Okay, with that being said, the women on these college campuses, and it is a problem, that are being and have been abused by males, it puts them in a very precarious situation. You know what I mean? It puts them in a situation where the pessimism is going to increase. Because obviously this girl knew how to hurt him. Whatever their relationship was, she knew how to hurt this kid because of what he had already done somewhere else. And the one thing that was going to get him, the one thing that was going to hurt him the most was for her to say that he did it again. And it's unfortunate. The whole situation, just like I said yesterday, for everyone involved, for her, him, the school, it's unfortunate. But sometimes, man, you can't run from your past. Sometimes that thing will follow you, man. It'll latch on to you, and it'll stay with you. And that's what happened to this kid, and this kid Jonathan Taylor, in this situation. He couldn't escape it. Rob made the he mentioned that he thought the kid was untouchable yesterday by other teams and other schools, other places. And the point I was making to him was, it's obvious that this kid has talent. And one of my big philosophies is, as far as America goes, talent wins out. 9 times out of 10, talent is going to win out. And people with talent get multiple chances to fail. That being said, now, and the scenario I gave him was that if he found a way to, let's say, beat one of the charges, which now this one is no charge at all now because she lied. So in essence, that's what happened. He beat this charge. And let's say he gets some sort of probation, no jail time in the one here in Georgia. Or, God forbid, that's dropped as well. Well, I don't say God forbid, but, in the event that one's dropped as well, of course, because it's obvious that this kid is, if he's talented enough to be recruited by Mark Richt and the University of Georgia, and then after a domestic violence case is brought against him, he's talented enough to go play for arguably the best school in the best conference in Alabama. Yeah, this kid, he's got talent. So somebody somewhere, even if it's a lower division school, they'll give them a shot because a lot of coaches feel like they can save young men, and I don't know that this kid necessarily needs saving or what the actual details are of his personality or of his mental state, but it becomes a risk reward type thing. You go to a smaller school, Middle Tennessee State, or just for an example, I think MTSU is still Division I, but you drop down a level to, I don't know, a Hampton University maybe, and then the risk is a lot lower for that coach, because who knows who the coach of Hampton is if you didn't go there. He's not Nick Saban, is my point. So if things go awry, okay, cool, whatever. Hampton will move on. Their coaching staff will move on. It really won't be any type of big time backlash for Hampton University. But if this kid ends up keeping his nose clean and finds himself in somebody's NFL combine and end up getting drafted out of Hampton, that's free advertising for the Hampton football program. Risk versus reward. While we're talking about the SEC, well, not the SEC, the SEC in college football, it's funny that I wish Rob was here, because it's so funny to me. He's a big time, UGA fan, and at no point in time in the last 2 weeks has he mentioned the fact that the University of Georgia has been partaking in spring practice. I don't really care about any individual college team versus another one. I'm fortunate. Well, I consider myself fortunate to live down here. For some aspects of college football, you get to see good college football. But then, when you're doing, at the time before when I was doing a radio show, that's when you hear from all the yahoos, boy, and everything is we and us, like they got a jersey number and cleats on Saturday. So it's a bunch of weirdo stuff that goes on too in the midst of all the college football stuff. But the upside is you get to see good college football. And just, for the people that are they're listening here in Georgia and who are Georgia fans, just know that you still got Nick Chubb running the football, but some other guys who have had a tough time at it at Georgia running back wise. Keith Marshall came in with Todd Gurley, and everyone dubbed the backfield Gershel, Gurley and Marshall, and it rhymes with Herschel and that whole thing. And I remember when that happened, I was like, one of these dudes is gonna separate themselves, and that thing will last for a blink of an eye. And what ended up happening? Todd Gurley is an adult. He's a male adult human being playing against people's children, and it showed. And then the NCAA ruined his career by suspending him and causing him. I still blame them for him tearing his ACL. This guy having to ramp it up, then turn it down, then turn it back up to try to finish the season. Yeah, I blame them. Quarterback wise, Hudson Mason is gone. He spent his entire career outside 1 year behind Aaron Murray, and he got his chance last year and performed. I don't know. I don't think he performed very well. Georgia fans would say he sucked or whatever. I don't think he performed well compared to his predecessor. I don't even think he got even anywhere remotely close to what they needed out of him to win some of those ball games. But coming back is Bryce Ramsey, Fatun Bata, I think that's how you say it, Bauta, and a young guy, Jacob Park, who, from my reading, he looks like he's about to take the reins from these other guys who have the game experience over him. Jacob Park is a redshirt freshman, so big up to them. I'm not sure when the red and I don't know if it's called a red and black game is going to be happening, because I'm not really the guy that's all in on the whole college football situation. I'm not a big, even growing up here, I'm not a Georgia guy. These people are just, they're lightweight weirdos when it comes to the University of Georgia. Dudes who've never even been to college, period. Walk around here with G tattoos on them and weird stuff like that. everything they have on their car, license plates, is the universal